I recently came across a YouTube video titled something along the lines of it was something like "You should be a YouTuber now" or something like that. I don't really remember. I'll put a screenshot up and I'll link it in the description. Basically, it was a really good video about how you should start doing things you want to do now, YouTube, artwork, whatever creative field you may be in, you should start now. And while that was it was a really good video. I really enjoyed watching it. I was watching it at 2 a.m. and I was only going to watch like half of it and then watch the rest the next day. I wound up watching the entire thing. Point being, it was a really good video, and it got me thinking about things. It got me thinking about just creative stuff in general, and it gave me an idea for a series I want to do, and a video I want to do. And it's not on the same topic, but I actually got it from the comments in that specific video. It was a certain comment that stood out to me a lot, and I'll kind of try to paraphrase it a bit because I don't have it in front of me. But basically they said that they really liked the format of the video the guy was doing, and it kind of just felt like hanging out with a friend while they played a video game, just ranting about stuff. And it made me realize I talk a lot in my personal life. When I'm like hanging out with friends or like my parents or whatever, I'll have a lot to say about certain things. And so it got me kind of thinking of a series I wanted to do, and I wanted to do stuff similar to that specific video I saw. I don't know, it got me thinking about just kind of doing gameplay videos, and I don't want to call them Let's Plays, because I don't want to do Let's Plays unless I did like another channel. If I did that, I'd want to start them with a friend. That's a whole other topic. Basically, it just got me thinking about how I thought it would be fun to just kind of sit down every once in a while, play a video game in the background, and just talk about a topic. So this is a new thing I'm going to sort of try to do. I'm going to see how this one does, and just see where it takes me, because I enjoy playing video games, and I enjoy talking with friends, and just those quiet nights of just having discussions, hanging out, playing video games. This has been a really long tangent, and a really long way to start out the video, and I'm probably going to edit it down a lot. So basically, this week, I was going to say this week, but this time, because I'm not going to put a timestamp on it, I'm not going to do it every week, it's just whatever. This time, I kind of wanted to just sit down, play some City Folk, go around my town. I thought it was a relaxing enough game. I was actually going to play Mario Wonder, but I've been playing a lot of that off camera, and I wanted to play something different for this specifically. But I wanted to just sit down and talk about this specific topic and just play a relaxing game. I thought this would be a good game. I feel like a lot of new subscribers are here from Animal Crossing anyway, so it's just a relaxing, it's sort of a podcast, I guess, in a way. But basically, the topic I want to talk about today is just doing the stuff you love doing and the stuff you kind of used to love doing as a kid. I'm really not sure what to title the video. I haven't even thought about it yet. But basically the topic is you should do stuff that you used to love doing. This is something that I kind of rediscovered, whatever you want to call it, recently. And it's something that has really given me a lot of enjoyment. I think a lot of the time, as you get older, you kind of gain new interests, you drop off of old ones, you may forget about them. That doesn't necessarily mean you don't like them anymore. And I'm not saying to go back and do stuff that you don't like. If you grew out of it, that's completely fine. But I found myself personally, like, kind of recently, within the past year or two, rediscovering a lot of old interests and just kind of embracing them again. I can't really put it into words. It brings you back a bit. It's not nostalgia, because it's still modern day, but it brings you back. That's the best way I could word it. And I think a lot of people kind of forget about stuff as they get older. And I don't know, I think you should just kind of, you have any old interests, any old things you like, TV shows, video games, whatever, anything you may have forgotten about that you kind of put aside or overlook because you're grown up now or whatever, I think you should revisit those. As I mentioned, recently, within the past year or two, have been doing a lot of this. I've been revisiting a lot of old things I like, old interests I like. I mean, hell, even coming back to YouTube was kind of doing that in a way. And just go back to those things you liked doing as a kid. It doesn't matter, it could be a cartoon, it could be a video game, it's just something that is kind of special to you. And, oh, well, I never actually got these before. I gotta drop something, hang on. I gotta litter for a second. Anyway, basically, set aside judgment. What was I saying? Set aside judgment, set aside what you think others will kind of think of you, and just do stuff for yourself and do stuff for fun. And a good example of something I did literally 2 nights ago was I sat down, it was probably like 1 in the morning. I sat down, I relaxed in front of the TV, I got myself a little Ziploc bag of potato chips, and I hung out with my dog and I watched SpongeBob, which was a show that I always watched, like all the time when I was a kid. And somewhere down the line I kind of dropped off of it, I stopped watching it, and I'll be honest, I kind of passed it off, I brushed it off as something that, I did as a kid, and it was something that I wasn't gonna do anymore for a while. And recently, I don't know what to say here. It's fine. I don't feel like thinking of a phrase right now. Alright, cool. Recently, within, like, as I said, the past 2 years, like, around maybe 2 years ago, this September, October, whatever, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I don't know what kind of drove me to do it, but I did. I literally put on the TV one night. I put on Nickelodeon because it's always airing, and it was on, and I watched some episodes I haven't seen in so long, and just that feeling of doing that again after so long, just relaxing in front of the TV, watching my favorite cartoon as a kid, and just having a nice quiet night was something that really brought me a lot of nostalgia at first, and a lot of joy, and a lot of comfort. And that's just a personal example, and I've still, honestly, I carry on. I do it today. Like, if I'm hanging out on the couch at night and I don't feel like playing a video game, I'm getting bored of whatever I'm doing, I'll literally turn on the TV and I'll watch cartoons. I also did this about a year ago with another favorite show of mine, Adventure Time, which is something I really didn't watch since it ended, and I put on Hulu, I put on some old episodes, and same exact feeling. It felt really nice going back to that stuff that I love doing. It's really important in this world that we're living in, and just throughout the process of growing up and gaining more responsibilities, I personally think it's really important to still have those moments, especially, as you get older, to stay in touch with those things that bring you joy. If it's something that you don't really enjoy anymore, by all means, find something else to do. But I think it's really important to go back, to look at things you used to love doing, and just try them again, and see that feeling that kind of comes back. Even my New Leaf video, honestly, was kind of in a way, a version of doing that as well. I revisited that game after years of not playing it, and it was kind of like returning home in a way. I know there are a lot of things in the way as you get older. Maybe you have a job, school. I'll state that I am fortunate enough to be in a position where I have a lot of free time at the end of the day, especially now that it's summertime. But I still think it's important, no matter what you got going on, to try to find some time to kind of get in touch with that younger version of you. I also think it's important to do these things from, I don't know, a standpoint of more like mental health and well-being as well. Because, whoa. Wait, are they open? Hold on, I haven't turned on this game since this upgraded. So I haven't seen this yet. Wow. Whoa, wait, what? My home wait, hold on. I gotta go back. Well, I guess I could sell stuff right now. I didn't know they were open past 12. Is this like a 24-hour store? Alright. As I was saying, from sort of like a mental health point of view for this as well, I think it's really important because you get to be a kid again for a little bit. And that's what's so relaxing about it. And again, it doesn't have to be something so specific like a cartoon. In my case it is, but yours it doesn't have to be. It could be a video game you haven't gone back to in a while. I mean, hey, if you got like a City Folk save that you haven't gone to in like 10 years, go back to it. Fix up your town. See your old villagers again. Just kind of, just be in the moment and just relax. It could be something you used to enjoy doing, an old hobby. Again, I mentioned this, literally exactly what I'm doing right now, used to be something that I did. I started this back in 2011, so I kind of went back and I started making more videos, and I found that same exact feeling I got back then of accomplishment and just enjoyment out of doing this. It could be anything, really. I mean, go back to, I don't know, like a favorite place you had in the past, or like a hangout spot. Reach out to an old friend, pick back up old hobbies, play old games, watch cartoons, any of it applies. The whole point is really to just reconnect with your old interests and kind of that younger version of you. Basically, get back in touch with things that you kind of dropped off over the years. I don't know, I guess I just think it's important to not forget about things that you always enjoyed. I mean, it gives you this sense of... was that a golden beetle? Were golden beetles a thing in this game? Man, I don't know. It just gives you a sense of going back home, I guess. I feel like that's probably a pretty good analogy for the whole thing. I think these guys are... Oh, I thought they were about to fight. The way I look at it, and some of you may relate to this as well, I forget where I read this, or like heard this years ago. It might have been like a screenshot of a Tumblr post. I don't know, maybe I could try to find it and put it up on the screen. But I remember forever ago, I saw this post or this quote or whatever it was, and it kind of always stuck with me. Basically, the idea was we as people are kind of comparable to onions or trees, and I know that sounds really weird out of context. I'll explain the post. Let me explain the post. Basically, it was saying that every year you get older is like a new layer to an onion. And this, I know this sounds like a really bad Shrek reference. I promise it's not. Each year you get older, it's like a new layer, and that younger you is still there underneath the new layer. Those other versions of you are still present. They're not gone, they're never gone. They may be pushed to the back or kind of hidden underneath layers, but the more you sort of look under those layers and look back, you're still there. And those younger versions of you are still there from a year ago, from 2 years ago, from 10 years ago. And so this specific idea of going back to things that you used to like doing relates to that pretty heavily. Because when you do go back and when you do rediscover old hobbies or old interests or just things that made you happy as a kid or as a teenager or whatever, you're bringing out that version of you that's still kind of dormant underneath all those layers. And that's the best way I could describe the feeling. And I don't know where the store is. This is my own town, and I don't even know where the store is. I gotta look at the map. Oh, it's all the way in the corner. That's like my GameCube save. Just the whole point of this and the whole idea is to just not lose touch. And I don't think there's really ever a way to completely lose touch, but it's never gone. It's never gone, and I don't think those feelings are ever gone either. That's pretty much most of what I had to say on this topic. Point is, it's just something that I think is important, and something that's good for you. To end off this video, before it gets too long, and before this gets to be crazy to edit, I'll leave with a question and a challenge. The question being, what's something from your childhood that you always used to love that maybe you might have forgot about over the years, or kind of didn't have the time for, don't have the time for anymore? And the challenge is, I want you to take that answer, or, you know, anything. It doesn't have to be that specific answer, but just anything from when you were younger that you used to really enjoy. I want you to think about that over the next few days, and then at some point within, let's say, the next week, take some time out of your day, maybe at night or maybe on a weekend. Take some time to yourself, or it could be with friends. It literally doesn't matter. And do that thing. Do that thing that you may have forgotten about over time. And see how it makes you feel. And then come back once you've done that and edit that comment and let me know your experience. I'd love to hear it. So I'll end this off with just a thought, and I'll do it on the beach, because that's relaxing. And that thought is, it's important to bring back those simple times, even if it's just for an hour. Thanks for watching, and have a good night, everybody.